Hi, my name is Kelvin Newman and welcome to the Brighton SEO podcast, where we share talks from one of the world's most popular search marketing conferences. The event started out as a few people meeting in an upstairs room of a pub and is now attended by over 3,000 people from all over the world. This episode is a recording of one of the speakers at a recent event.
So next up, we actually have Sébastien Monnier. Sébastien is the founder of Woptimo after spending about 2.5 years, I think it was, at Google Dublin. Sébastien's talk title today is How Google Tag Manager Can Help Your SEO.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, hello everyone. So Chloe was very nice to present good practice for technical SEO. I won't talk about good practice. I will talk more about some dirty hack that you can do, but that are very useful. And for that, you will use Google Tag Manager. So first, maybe first question. Who in the room has already used Google Tag Manager? Okay, quite a lot, but not everyone. So for those who don't, please do, because it's a very great tool. So Google Tag Management, what is it? Google Tag Manager is a tool, a free tool from Google that helps you launch any kind of script you want on your website. So usually it is done for Google Analytics script or Facebook Pixel script, Google AdWords conversion tag, or any custom JavaScript tag that you want to launch. So of course, don't use it for very important JavaScript that are really useful for the website. But if it's just for tracking code, yeah, please launch everything through a tag management system, and especially Google Tag Manager. So Google Tag Manager has been there for 5 years, and so we have the opportunity to make a lot of tests, and especially a test for SEO. So I like, I forgot this slide. So this is a very nice metaphor to talk about Google Tag Manager. Google Tag Manager is basically only one script, and it will rule all of your tracking code scripts. So just Lord of the Rings ring is pretty accurate. It works as JavaScript injector. So you can pretty much trigger any kind of JavaScript, even really bad JavaScript if you want. So if you use Google Tag Manager, you have to be careful to make sure that your Google account is secure. Because if someone hacks into your Google account and you have publishing access to a Google Tag Manager, someone can just put a random JavaScript, for example, to redirect to his porn site, or I don't know. So you have to be careful. You don't want to have your clients hacked because of your Google Tag Manager account. So this is the bad thing. But the good thing as well is that you can launch pretty much anything. So when the developer doesn't want to push your code, your optimization code, then you can just force that with Google Tag Manager. That's what we'll discuss about today. Yeah, so why not using it for SEO? But first, there is something we have to discuss, is how far can Google read JavaScript? There was a talk this morning, so just 2 hours ago, about JavaScript and SEO. Very interesting talk. Yes, I just changed my slides to include a link to this. So Bartosz had a very interesting talk to explain how the different frameworks and JavaScript are interpreted by Google and by other search engines. And he has very, very nice insights. Unfortunately, he didn't talk about Google Tag Manager, so I will. So, as I was saying earlier, this is not SEO best practice. Usually, if you have a good relationship with your developer, and the developer does pretty much anything that you want, you don't need to use Google Tag Manager just to hack things for SEO. So this is a dirty hack, but this is not black hat. This is totally okay for Google. So you can still use it. So I will show 3 examples, and especially 2 main SEO roadblocks that you can find, and how you can actually get around them. So the first one. First one is something that you may have encountered with some clients, or even with your own websites, that you cannot change title and meta description easily. And that happens a lot, whether you are actually using an old CMS or you just have some templating, the template title for the category page, for example, but you want to have this very specific title on this page because this page is really important for you. So how can you do that if you don't want to change all the code and put that if this is this page, then change the title for this very specific thing? And then you have to push the HTML. That's just a mess. With Google Tag Manager, it's much easier to do. You can just dynamically change it, just with a simple line of code. You just just basic JavaScript. You take the title node, you replace whatever you want to replace. It's, for example, easier maybe to put some special character, or to test some character. You don't need to push anything live on your website. You just need to publish your tag management container. And then you just replace with a new title. But maybe you are wondering, but how long does it take for my new title to actually be taken into account by Google? Actually, we did the test, and after a few hours, I think it was after 1 day, it was already working. Yeah, so you have to add the right trigger to your tag, and then you're done. You wait a few hours, days, and you're done. And yes, you can even rank on keywords that you launch through Google Tag Manager. The good thing with Google Tag Manager is that it's good JavaScript because you can push your own JavaScript with this tool, and then Google will actually rewrite this script to make sure that it's easily rendered by the browsers. So you can be sure that it will be read by Googlebot, with this. So that's why actually you can even rank on this. We actually did the test. We put dynamically some keyword that were nowhere to be used on the internet, pushed dynamically with the title. And then after, I think after 2 days, we were already ranking first for this keyword. So even though it's not at all in the HTML code, well, you can still rank. We haven't tried of course, for very competitive keywords because we don't want to mess up with our clients or with our own website. So we didn't push the test that far. But there is no reason to think that the text will actually have less weight because it's already taken into account by Google. A few tips with that. Don't hesitate to extract some data out of the HTML because it's something that you can do. Quite easily with the DOM extractor as a variable in Tag Manager. So, for example, if you have a product that is on sale for just a few weeks, you don't want to just change everything on your website and the templates of the title to make sure that people will know on the title that the product is on sale. You can just push that through Google Tag Manager. Very, very easy to do. Same with the criteria on search results. This is a common hack. You actually index your search results, but you have always the same title, and you want to put the criteria in the title or in the meta description. Well, you can just extract that from the HTML, push that in the title dynamically with JavaScript and through Google Tag Manager, and that works. Same with stock in real time. If you want to basically have directly from the SERP to say, oh, there is only 10 items left, and you want that to be kind of live. Well, it needs to be indexed, of course, but you can just push the title to make sure that the stock are reflected in the title. So this is things that you can always do from the server side, but if you cannot do that properly because the site is too huge and this is not the priority of the developers, you can still do that with Google Tag Manager. Second, I don't know if you have already had the issue, but usually when you have faceted navigation, when you have search results and plenty of criteria that you want to get indexed, it can be a mess. And sometimes, it happens to me a few weeks ago, fast navigation was out of control. It was a new site from a new client, and he didn't really put any no-follow anywhere, and everything was indexed. There was billions and billions of pages, and no crawler could actually just crawl everything. So it was really awful. So what we did is we just changed dynamically all the links that we didn't want to get followed and put a no-follow on it. And actually, Google just crawls on the website and with JavaScript enabled. So it would take into account the canonical, even the no-index, everything with after JavaScript. So if you put canonical on a page, it may not be as fast as if it was hard-coded, but after a while, it will be taken into account. Okay, so it can be very important to do if it's difficult to manage the indexing of the website. Then you can hack your way around with Google Tag Manager in just a matter of a few scripts. If you know a little bit of JavaScript, it's very easy. So it does work. However, I still prefer hard-coded HTML. If you have a good developer, you should not use this tip. But if you don't have any choice, use it and it works. You want results as an SEO. You don't want good practice. You just want results. So the third one is actually not a hack. It's something that everybody can use, and it's pretty much cool. So as an SEO, you need data. Without data, you cannot really know what's going on your website. So one thing I use a lot is Google Analytics custom dimensions. So dimensions are basically data that you can send into Google Analytics, and you can add up to 20 new dimensions. Like by default, you have title, URL, and these kind of dimensions. But we'll see that you can add a lot of different dimensions. Very easy to do. So what we do is for every page, we send the canonical tag, to know what's going on, the H1, the hreflang, meta robots, and we could also think of, the link prev and link next, this kind of thing for pagination, or any kind of tag that you really need to interpret for SEO. And so with that, you can have a nice analysis. For example, you can know how many page views are actually for no-index pages. So if you see that, okay, you have 20 or 30% of your website, of your page views that are actually no-indexed, maybe you were a little bit too greedy with no-index, and maybe these pages are actually worth it, and you should maybe open to indexing again, or you should rethink the way you change your website. But without that, without sending that to Google Analytics, and it's very easy to do with Google Tag Manager, you cannot know. Second is bad hreflang. So of course you can have the information as well with the crawler, but we'll see it's different. Here you already have the information right out of the box in Google Analytics. So in this very specific example, you see that the German product page actually has a hreflang to the English homepage, which is bad. And you just see that with the first dimension, and you add the secondary dimension with the custom dimension that you have just created, and you have the information. This is pretty much cool. H1. So if you send the H1, not only you will know what kind of pages has no H1 on your page, but it's also a good history, because you will change H1 over time, and maybe after 1 year you will ask, okay, I don't remember what was the H1 on this very specific page. And no crawler ever, unless you unless you save all your crawling every time, will know the information. Here, you also get the history of Google Analytics, because Google Analytics will store your data. Maybe not forever. Right now it's forever. Officially it's for 3 years, I think. But right now the Google Analytics has never erased any data. So, and of course, don't collect any personal information with Google Analytics. If you do that, your account may be closed. So, when you collect data for SEO, through a Google Tag Manager and into Google Analytics. It's really different from what you can do with a crawler like DeepCrawl, OnCrawl, or Screaming Frog. When you actually record data with Google Analytics is live user data. It means that if you don't have any visit on a page, you don't have any data in Google Analytics, of course. But also, if someone change dynamically the page, for example, if you use Google Translate, the title that you will see in Google Analytics will be the title translated, because you will pick the DOM HTML, not what was already on the page. So this is a different perspective on your SEO data, and very easy to send through a Google Tag Manager through Google Tag Management. And a crawler, it will be different, because it will check all pages from the home page, but maybe not the pages that you wanted. For example, maybe the landing pages are not accessible from the home page, but have a lot of visits. And so you will not know what kind of hreflang or what kind of H1 there is on these pages, even though there is a lot of visits. So what I would advise is to do both things, is to configure Tag Manager to make sure that you have the right custom dimensions for SEO that are saved into Google Analytics, and also to use a nice crawler to make sure that you know what's going on your website. Okay? So, yeah, I think it's my last slide here. Maybe I was a bit fast. Just a reminder, the good thing with Google Tag Manager is that you take over the power from the developer, and instead of having to wait what's going on, say, oh yeah, did you do something? Then with Google Tag Manager, you get the power to change and to dynamically change things through JavaScript, and this is actually taken into account with Google with Google Search in just a matter of hours and days. Thank you.
This was originally recorded at a Brighton SEO conference. If you want to listen to more episodes or find out about the conference itself, you can do at brightonseo.com.